Trending currently at the global stage is that the United States of American government, under the leadership of Mr. Donald J. Trump, in collaboration with the Israeli government under the leadership of the Prime Minister, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, has launched a combined military strikes on target in Iran. This very attack, which the Israeli Prime Minister, or rather the Israeli Defense Force, considered to be a preemptive attack on the soil of Iran, is currently building up a lot of pressure, a lot of speculations and tension at the international community, owing to the fact that for many weeks, the United States of American government, under the leadership of Mr. Donald J. Trump, had threatened Iran or told Iran in clarity that they should be ready to make a deal with respect to their nuclear program.
Breaking news from the Middle East. Israel has launched what it's calling a preemptive strike against Iran. We understand this is a joint U.S. and Israeli strike which hit in Iran's capital of Tehran, near the offices of Iran's supreme leader, where we could see a cloud of smoke rising from the area. The Israeli Defense Ministry said in a statement that it launched the attack to remove threats from Iran to the state of Israel. It said it was expecting a missile and drone attack from Iran in, quote, the immediate future. The Defense Ministry has also declared an immediate state of emergency in all areas of the country. This Israeli strike comes on the heels of a massive U.S. military buildup in the area. The U.S. has been assembling a vast fleet of fighter jets and warships in the region in an attempt to pressure Iran into a deal to dismantle its nuclear program. Joining us now, we have Charlie D'Agata, who's in Israel, to tell us exactly what we know. Charlie?
Many of you can still recall that in the last week, so close to a month now, the United States of American government and that of Iran had some talks and deals, deal talk or pre-deal, discussion or peace talk in Oman. That very talk happened, which was expected to continue. In fact, as a matter of fact, the United States of American Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has been scheduled to be in the Middle East by Monday, I think being the 2nd of March, 2026. However, the tension and the pressure that is currently building up across board lies on the fact that for weeks and months, the United States of American government have been deploying the largest, military warship and military, aircraft deployment down to the Middle East in decade, the largest which has never happened in recent time since after the American military action in Iraq in the year 2003. As we speak, United States of American government, have succeeded in deploying 2 aircraft carriers down to the Middle East. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier with 3 guided missile destroyers, as well as USS Gerald Ford, aircraft carrier, which happens to be the largest in the world, which was part and parcel of the aircraft carrier that was used by United States of American government during the military action at the Caribbean in Venezuela, precisely. And, analysts and reporters have x-rayed that as we speak, the United States of American government have deployed over 100 fighter jets down to the Middle East, including F-35, F-22, F-15, F-16, and so many others, in preparation for what is to come, principally for retaliation attack that could come from Iran. Otherwise, some experts are saying that if United States of American government, wanted to rain an attack on Iran just the same way they did last year when they attacked the nuclear facility in Iran, that they would have, again, used the B-2 bombers to carry out that very action. But this time, they are not just interested in striking these nuclear facilities and then letting go. They are prepared for retaliation attack, as well as making sure that Iran is liberated. Meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister has already sent a message to the citizens of Israel about 2 to 3 hours after that very attack, military strike in Iran had taken place, calling on them that it is time for a military operation in Iran to remove the existential threat that Iran posed to the people of Israel. And he has admonished all the citizens of Israel to be prepared, to be at alert, and heed to instructions that will be coming from Home Front Command that at this material time in the coming days, when the Israeli Defense Force, in collaboration with the United States of American government or United States of American forces, will be heading towards the military operation called Lion's Roar. Make one listen to that very short video, although not in English.
אחיי ואחיותיי, אזרחי ישראל, לפני שעה קלה יצאו ישראל וארצות הברית למערכה משותפת, מבצע שאגת הארי. מטרת המבצע, לשים קץ לאיום ממשטר האייתולות באיראן. בשעה זו תוקף צה"ל מטרות של משטר הדיכוי, מתקנים של משמרות המהפכה והבסיס, ויחד עם צבא ארצות הברית, אתרי טילים בליסטיים שמאיימים הן על ישראל והן על כוחות ארצות הברית.
In view of all of this, the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump, has equally sent a very clear message to the people of Iran as well as to the people of the United States of America, citing the damages that have been done over the years by the Islamic Republic of Iran to the citizens of the United States of America, that indeed, this time, that the United States of American government is heavily prepared for Iran, and a great price shall be paid if Iran does not heed to making a meaningful, peaceful deal at the end of the day. Mona, watch the video.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions. and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, the bottom line is that actions and reactions are always equal but opposite. Yes, the fact remains that United States of American government is heavily prepared. They have a heavy military presence currently at the Middle East. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier had on board about 5,700 servicemen with three guided missile destroyers, and also the largest of the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier came on board with over about 5,000 servicemen as well. Even though these numbers are not up to the number of military forces that was deployed down to Iraq in 2003, and then others that were deployed by the US in the 90s, over 500,000 American forces. However, these numbers is telling you that the US is heavily prepared at this material time. And having stated that, the reactions that will come, or what you might call the consequences, will be the retaliation from Iran. According to some of the Iranian experts, one of the Iranian International Crisis Group, an expert, has also maintained that US attack on the soil of Iran this time will not be a one and do it all attack. That is, it's not something you just come and strike and go and then you believe you have done it all. That Iran will also respond, and Iranian government under the leadership of Mr. Ayatollah Khamenei has equally made it very clear that it is time to draw a blood and inflict a heavy pain, on the people of the United States of America, even if that is going to come at a very high price. Meaning that the Islamic Republic of Iran, under the leadership of Mr. Ayatollah Khamenei, is very convinced and optimistic that they have the capacity to retaliate any attack by United States of American government on their soil. And for a fact, Iran still possesses a stockpile of high-profile ballistic missiles. According to several sources, Iran still has up to about 1,800 ballistic missiles, long-range ballistic missiles. And these are also part of the reasons Israel wants to reduce the presence of these dangerous weapons in the soil of Iran, as well as halt permanently their nuclear program, which will empower them to produce other nuclear piloted or nuclear induced weapons. You know what I mean? Like the nuclear warheads and the rest of them. You know what I mean? So that is the singular reason Iran has continued to enrich uranium up to 60% in preparedness to start manufacturing nuclear warheads. Well, my stand has remained the same. I want a peaceful world where everybody will live at peace with every other person, even though it is technically not possible, because human beings are very complex in nature and human beings are political animals. So conflict will always set in and out of season. However, I will never be a support a support group or support any mission that will pilot towards producing more nuclear weapons, more dangerous weapons that will be a threat to mankind. Yes, like I said in some of my videos, those that already have nuclear warheads should have it until the world finally comes to a conclusion that it is time to destroy all nuclear warheads across board. But allowing member nations to start building nuclear warheads and all of that is a no-no for me. Is a no-no for me. Yes, it's these are weapons of mass destruction which must not be allowed, from the moral point of view. You know what I mean? It is not about who has it now and who does not have it. It's all about